Hello everybody, and thank you for stopping by. This is Sierra from Sierra T Designs, and today I have a Distress Oxide blended and Copic colored mermaid birthday card for you. So let's jump right in. And to start, as you know, I like to have my cardstock cut down prior to making my card. I find that it's easier to know what I have to work with. So I have this cut down to, I have my A2 sized card base, which is 5.5 by 4.25, and then everything underneath or after that, like my black mat and my panel, are 1/4 of an inch smaller than my A2 base. Normally I do 1/8 of an inch, but this card is actually one of the first cards I ever recorded when I decided I wanted to start my YouTube channel, and I actually forgot about this card. So recently when I was going through what I had stored for my YouTube channel, oh, and there's one of my kittens. She pops in a couple of times during this card. I was going through what I already had recorded, and this one was sitting there, and I realized I had made this in January, and I started my YouTube channel in the end of January. January 27th, I believe, was the first day I started my YouTube channel, so kind of exciting. So if I go out of frame, I'm sorry, but bear with me, because this is my first card, one of my first cards that I made, so let's jump right in. So I did take the Simon Says Stamp Beautiful Mermaid stamp set, and I stamped out my mermaid using my mini Misti and some Copic Safe ink. I believe this one's the Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink. And then I have some oxides. So I also took some Inkadinkado masking paper and masked my mermaid and the bottom of my card, because I wanted her to be sitting kind of at sea level on a rock, so she will be water below her where the rocks are, and then above her I did a sky, and I kind of did it where I thought the sunset would be setting behind the mermaid, so it kind of has this golden glow around her and then slowly gets darker as we go out. So for my oxides, I used squeezed lemonade, mustard seed, wild honey, and abandoned coral. And then when we get to the water, I have Tumbled Glass, Salty Ocean, Blueprint Sketch, and then I finish it off to make it kind of darker with black soot. And of course I'm using my scrapbook.com domed blending foams. I think these are amazing. If you struggle at all with blending your colors and kind of getting them smooth, or touching down your blending tool, I find the round ones from Ranger are great. Don't get me wrong, they're lovely. Don't go and buy new ones if you already have them. But if you're in the market for something that's a bit easier, I find these ones, because they're domed, are a bit easier to work with, simply because when you touch them to paper, they don't create a circle that you then have to work to blend out. They just make it a little bit simpler. So but yeah, that's just my opinion. And I'll link my storage. Of course, when I was making this, I hadn't made my storage yet, because this video's a bit old, but well, old in the sense that I recorded it at the beginning of this year. This is pre-COVID, this video, which is almost shocking to think about now when you kind of think about that. But so I wanted the water to be the darkest as further down it got on the card, so I did use black soot just to kind of create some contrast between the blues there. And this is super simple color Copics, jeebus, super simple ink blending. Sorry guys, it's been a day apparently. I'm gonna trip over my words a little bit. You could totally not use as many colors as I have. I chose to use tons of colors because I could. You don't need to. You could do simpler blends. And here I honestly thought that I was going to create some rocks beside my mermaid. That's why I touched my blue foam to the panel there, and then I didn't like how it looked. We're going to cover it up, so it's okay. I don't even know if you're going to really notice that I did that, but don't worry about it. We're going to fix it. So we're going to go with our Copics, and for the rock that she's sitting on, I'm going to use C1, C3, C5, and C7, which are cool grays, and I'm going to shade anywhere that she's on top of the rock, because her the mermaid would cast a shadow. Now granted, because I've done the sun behind her, it would have created different shading simply because you'd have kind of a rim light of around the mermaid, but I didn't do that. That's a bit above my skill level, so honestly I just shaded it to be that wherever she sat, or wherever a rock sat in front of another rock, or where her fin is sitting above, I kind of just shaded it to where if she was sitting somewhere, then that's where the shade would be. And I also, this is where I brought in the darkest C, the C7, and I just added a little bit of shadowing on top of my Copic blending, my Oxide blending. I added a little bit of shading, oh boy guys, I added a little bit of shading to the water where the rock is sitting, so that it would look like the rock was sitting in the water and not just kind of floating there. So for my skin tone, I used E51, E21, and E41. And then for the hair, we're going to do purple because I currently have purple hair, and I just love purple hair. It's just my thing. I quite enjoy it. So for the hair, we're going to do V04, V15, and V17. And of course, any color or any medium that I use will be listed and linked down below, as well as a coordinating blog post. So if you ever want to go and check that out, I actually do a monthly email where I reach out to you guys and give you updates about what's going on with me, and I'll let you know if I'm doing any giveaways or anything like that. If I know of any sales, I'm going to try to get better at that. Just so you guys have a heads up if you're interested. So if you're interested at all, head over to my blog, and there's a pop-up on the front page of my blog, or there is a part on the right above where the blog posts start, where you can put in your email address and get information from me if you're interested. So here we're going to jump into the hair. And I always, when I color with my Copics, work lightest to darkest and then back darkest to lightest. I find that's the easiest way for me to blend them. There's no wrong way. That's just how I have found it the easiest. By all means, if you can work darkest to lightest, I've seen some people do that and it's stunning. I just don't have that kind of confidence in my coloring yet, so I don't do that. But by all means, if you do have that confidence, or you're just that amazing at coloring, by all means use darkest to lightest. But for me, I can be heavy-handed, so for more control, I lay a base of my lightest color down and then work through to the darkest and then work back through to just make a better blend. If you wanted it to be a bit more of a stark, like a less blended, then you wouldn't need to work back through your full colors, but generally when I color, I kind of try for a very blended look. At least that's my practicing. But Copic coloring is kind of its own special thing, and it can be a bit overwhelming, honestly. But I've spent a few years now collecting the colors and kind of building out my collection a few at a time, because they can be a little bit pricey. And there are so many other alcohol markers you could use. You don't have to use Copics. They're all stunning. Lots of companies make them, so use whatever you have. Or pencil crayons. This would have been stunning with pencil crayons too. So many mediums. So whatever you have, make sure you use it. Like, you don't need to buy new stuff just to color something or to create something. You can absolutely use anything that's already in your stash and still make beautiful cards. And if you guys ever have any questions for me at all about anything I'm making or in general, by all means leave me a comment. And I read every comment. I respond to every comment that you guys leave. I really want to build a sense of community and kind of build a family with you, and I appreciate your support so much. So I'm always here if you have any questions for me or any concerns or want to know anything about me or anything like that. We're coming up to 1,000 subscribers. We're a little ways away. We just hit over 800, but we're coming up to it. So do you guys have any ideas about what we should do? What do you think we should do? I mean, there'll be a giveaway. There's no question there, but what do you think we should do? Do you think that like maybe a Q&A would be kind of fun if you want to know anything about me? Or do you have any ideas? Let me know what you think in the comments below, and we'll see what might be kind of fun to do, something very community-based. So we're going to jump into the tail and the clam. I also did the clams, like she has a little bra that's made of clams, and she has a little clam in her hair. I also used these same blues on that. So I'm going to use B00, BG01, BG45. And I believe I used the BG01 as the top, her little bra, and the clam in her hair. And I'm kind of using the darker color as well to kind of create those scale looks that are kind of already drawn into the image. I just kind of traced them with the marker to just add a little bit of definition where the artist has already drawn it. So I mean, that's one great thing about coloring stamps, is the artist has already drawn where you want your contrast or where you want anything that's differentiating. Oh, no, I'm sorry, I used BG45 to do the little bra and the clam in her hair, as well as the top of the tail, just to add some contrast between the light color of the tail and the rock and whatnot, and the skin tone. So yeah, so that is the Copic coloring. We're going to jump into gluing some stuff down here in a sec, I believe. I have to remember where we are, because like I said, I did this card a little while ago. So, oh no, we're going to splatter on some Ink on 3's Pixie Dust, liquid Pixie Dust. This stuff is stunning, guys. It's so shiny. I'm sorry I didn't lift the card up and show you how stunning this stuff is. I have in other videos, but I didn't in this one. And this is when my glue was brand new too, so there's no fight to get the glue out. If you've been with me for a minute, you know I've been fighting with my Nouveau glue just to get the last drop, because I refuse to waste any of it. I love that glue. So I'm going to glue my panel down, and then I have, here is the base, and I took one of the sentiments out of the same stamp set, and I used the same 3 blue oxides that I used to to blend the water. So Tumbled Glass, Salty Ocean, and Blueprint Sketch. I just kind of stamped them, or like dabbed them onto my sentiment, and then cleaned it off with my chamois, and then we're going to move on to the next part of this, and I believe, yep, I'm going to put on the sentiment. So I white heat embossed Happy Birthday Beautiful, and then I cut it out with these sentiment strips label dice from Simon Says Stamp. And then I'm just going to use my reverse tweezers to put it down. And I did put a little bit of foam behind it. These are the Dyrese really thin foam strips. Anything I use will be linked down below. I'm sorry I've got my head in the way there. But I really wanted it straight. Because it would have really taken away if I'd gotten it crooked. And I do every once in a while get it crooked. So, you know, it happens. And I have my crystal katana here. And I'm putting down some... I believe these are Pretty Pink Posh Sparkling Clear Jewels. And I just smattered them across. It'll be in an odd number because you know how I feel about odd numbers. I just find that that's a lot better for the eyes. And then I'm going to use my same Nouveau Deluxe glue. And I should have stuck it down before I added all the embellishments and whatnot. But like I said, I was a little nervous about recording. So I get out of frame a couple times and I get a little confused. And oh boy, guys, it's just been a thing. So this is the card I have for you this week. I hope you enjoyed it. I'd love to have you back. If you'd like to subscribe, leave me a comment, leave me a like, and I will see you guys again soon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.